Real Loud Reviews.
Hello, I'm Mark. I'm here today for Real Loud Reviews, and I wanted to have a look at the hot toy for Phasma. I got it a little while ago. Thought it'd be good to have a look at it now that it's out and I got it in hand. So as soon as I saw that the Captain Phasma, they're going to have a silver or a chrome, really shiny stormtrooper, I got that straight away. I pre-ordered it. So I've been collecting the hot toys for a long time. As you can see, I've got the. I remember thinking the Blade and the Dark Knight when I got them years ago. But they looked really good. But I have a lot of figures and toys and statues to do with movies. I have a pretty big collection. Sorry about that. Yeah, I try as much as I can not to keep them on the stands. I think they look more realistic. They might sometimes take a bit of a fall. On the high shelves, like I have some up really high, I normally keep those on the stand. So people ask me all the time about the toys and ask me, why I have so many of them. I just really like them. I love movies, and it's like having a piece of the film right there in your lounge room. I see them as I walk past them all the time. I don't sort of stop and stare at them too much, but I just like having them there, especially with the films I really like. And I like also that people respect my opinion about them, and they ask me all. So like I was saying, a lot of people ask me about the toys and Mark, where's the money I lent you, but whatever happened to your second wife? Did they? Sorry, I'm getting off track. So I'd like to have a look properly at Phasma. She's a very impressive figure, a real standout. So, this isn't even a quarter of my collection. I have a pretty big collection. My fourth wife cleaned me out pretty much, and she sold a lot of them. But so I don't know what you thought about the character originally, but so I thought it was an interesting choice to have a woman leading the stormtroopers. So if the blue tack isn't working, or some sticky tape, sometimes I just use some fishing line as like a safety wire for the figures to just hold them all in place, especially if it's windy or the roof is up. Okay, we will move outside and can into the other room. I have the boxes, and we can have a closer look. It's just be safer for me and for the toys if we just move out of here. Look. Okay, now we can have a look up close. So she's in the standard shoebox. Okay, so inside the box it has the artwork, and there she is. So okay, she's got a gun, comes out at the back, some extra hands here, and the cape is like soft sort of material. It has a bit of shape to it. It's worn a bit. They look like they match. And these extra power tools, magnetic, so they stick to the leg, the same as the gun. I see what they're going for, but it doesn't work. I mean, imagine trying to walk with that gun there. Okay, let's have an up close look. I apologise in advance if you seen something of my reflection. She is very reflective, obviously, with the sort of chrome sort of finish they've given her. Bit of a worn look there. There's a bit of that on there. can see underneath here the rubber suit that they've sort of given her. The zipper right there at the back of the neck, the back of the suit. So obviously I've got a few problems with this figure. Just want to look at them a little bit closer now. These stands are no good. You can hardly fit the figure on them. They're really shiny. Can't really put any sort of decent pose on the figure other than they're just pretty much sort of standing there almost, because there's no room for them. Useless. All the pieces move too easily, so like this just came off, I just touched it, and look at that. I have to super glue that back on. That all move, all the bits. They move very easily, very freely, so it's you know, every once in a while you'll need to go straighten the figure up with all the pieces, because gravity will start to do its bit, and yeah, pieces that should be up will start to go down. So I need to re-glue that. So that's no good. Have to fix it all the time. The whole rubber suit that they've got underneath, it looks good, but it makes her very restricted as far as posing. You're not gonna be able to pose her to do much. Even to get her to hold the gun properly, you know, the two hands as you would hold a gun this size, and as she does in the movie, you can't do it. You just got to have it just holding it in one hand. Even moving like that, the bits all forcing other bits off. So she's very restricted. This figure is all about the look, and you know, it's been posed and playability and that sort of thing. You can't move it much. And with it being that sort of paint to make it look metallic, it's very brittle, so you've got to be careful moving it. You don't break any more bits or have more bits come off. So even on the box, she's holding the gun all awkward. You can see the you can see she's got the stock of the gun over yeah, it's like she's holding it just across her body instead of holding it like under her arm where the stock would be if you're walking with it or carrying it. You think when you're going to pick this figure up that it would be heavy just because of how it looks, like almost like a die-cast one or something, but it feels very light for how it looks. And she is a fairly big figure. So it's very obvious, especially if you've got her on a higher shelf, like I'll have mine up a bit higher than my eye line, and you can see very easily from most angles that there's no head at all. There's no attempt to put anything there like they've done with like they've done with the Kylo Ren and the stormtroopers. They've got at least some sort of head in there. This one's just so obvious that it's just the ball joint, and that's it. The cape goes right under there. It looks like it'd be choking her. Yeah, so they could have put at least a fake head in the helmet. A lot of people have complained about her legs being like having a bit of a bow leg thing sort of going. You can move the armour enough to compensate for that a bit if it is. I haven't noticed it that much, but I haven't had it that long. One of the biggest complaints for people is the black above the eye visor there. That's not even on the costume in the movie. They've just added that. I don't know why. Maybe to just give it some sort of worn sort of look. So I'll have to adjust that if I want to make it more screen accurate. There's also supposed to be, I know I'm nitpicking, but you know, for the amount of money, it could have been very easy to fix. There's supposed to be some black bits around here. Would have been very easy to paint the bits black that needed to be black, and then it would have been done. But they've missed that one. I don't know how, but they have. For some positives, I suppose we should do some of them. Look, I like the mould's pretty good. Like you can tell it's a woman in that. You know, with the shape. So they've done a good job with that. The actual size of the figure is seems pretty good. If I put her next to Han Solo, who is, I think he's nearly 6'1", and she's 6'3", she is obviously a lot taller when you got them back to back, which is right. So she looks good next to Kylo Ren. The paint is really good. Even if you way back at the other end of the room, you're going to notice this figure. She is definitely going to catch your eye, draw your attention to her because of the paint job and the finish on it. If you've got all the other Star Wars figures and you've got this one here, she does stand out. So I think that's one of the best things you can say for it. So I can only really give this figure a rating of 2 out of 10. I know I gave more negatives than positives about the toy, but the positives definitely outweigh the negatives, and my biggest problem really isn't the figure at all. It's what it's a figure of. You know, even if it was the best figure or toy ever made. So I have an amazing, standout, eye-catching figure of something that was absolutely shit in the movie. They had a really good protagonist that you want to know about and get behind, and the antagonist that you end up hating for all the wrong reasons. Yeah, a lot of the Star Wars characters, especially in the old films too, they all had their own look and great design about them, but that's not all there was. You can't say the same about fucking Captain fucking Phasma though. You can't really have any interest in Phasma. I mean, there's nothing there. Oh, what's good about her? Oh, she's silver instead of white. Oh, she's tall. That's not a character. That's a fucking costume. Look, it's shiny. Wow. Fuck off. With Phasma, there's no layers. What you see is what you get. And you know what? What we actually see is more interesting than what we actually get. When Captain Phasma was under pressure at the end there, she just broke instantly. Man, like a little girl. A real coward. Just instantly. She shut off the shield to the First Order's biggest and best weapon, and their base, responsible for getting their base and hundreds of thousands of soldiers blown up and killed. She didn't put up any fight at all. Han Solo and Finn didn't even twist her arm behind her back. She just gave up. So what could they possibly even do with her if she was in the next film? There's no redeeming yourself from such a cowardly and destructive act. She should just be lined up and shot. She's beyond useless, just destructive. I mean, someone that's fought so hard to be so highly ranked and in that position of power would not be such a coward. It just makes no sense. One of the most embarrassing things is that Disney and Gwendoline Christie overhyped this part so much. The whole thing about her being so strong and empowered, and it's going to have this really strong female role in the film for girls to look up to. Does that mean someone that's in the film for 5 minutes and then turns out to be the weakest link in the whole First Order, and then once the goodies have got what they need from her, they just throw her in the trash? Is that, that's been thrown in the trash, strong and empowered? It's very counterproductive. It's not going to be remembered well. It's not going to be iconic. I pre-ordered it on how it looked, and now, you know, we look back at Vader, we see how cool he is, and even the parts that are a lot smaller, like Boba Fett, you know, after even 40 years, they're still remembered. I mean, I don't think time is going to really remember Captain Phasma that well, other than, oh yeah, just because she was in Star Wars. If you want a toy of why this Star Wars will be remembered as Star Wars The Force Agenda Awakens, then the Captain Phasma hot toy is definitely the toy for you to have on your shelf, because she's definitely a symbol of Force feminist views and just shoehorning something in there at the last minute without thinking it through. So she's a constant reminder of the beginning of the whole downfall of the First Order, because she's the weakest link in the whole First Order, and she's the main reason they lost this latest battle. She's the closest thing we have now to a really shit, forgettable, waste of space, boring character like Qui-Gon Jinn or Mace Windu, like any of those crap characters. But all she has going for her is a costume, just no depth to it all. If you want something that's like a character and a toy of the prequels, then get the Captain Phasma hot toy. A sign of absolute wasted opportunity. They really did have something really good that they could have done there for everyone, not just girls to look up to. The other word for waste is rubbish. And you know what I do with rubbish? I put it in my 1/6 scale trash compactor.